Welcome back. It's been a little while, and let's just say it's a new me, as my last video would have mentioned. So please do go over to there for more information about that. But on with the show, because we've done another D&D session, finally. It's been a little while. But we're back. And I have much to tell you about. Last session was a revelation that has shaken the foundations of our party to their very core. So, do join me, my friends, my dearest sinners, as I tell you the tale of the Lost Warriors. This was session 8. I know, only 8 sessions in and things have gone absolutely tits up. You'd love to see it. So, as you may remember from our last session, the party slew the king. King Theodore had fallen. The mad beast he became, little more than a thing now. Not a man, just a thing. But now comes the next part. Now comes the important part. What happens next? And what happens next is quite simple. The party, well, they had to get out. They were in the dark dungeons, or what's left of them. Thankfully, preparations for their escape had already been prepared. Perhaps brave souls, perhaps an infiltrator, perhaps other more darker means were used, but a box of black powder was left at a weak point just near a tunnel that was pre-prepared. The party detonated this and revealed a force waiting for them. Thankfully, their employer was present, and, well, was very pleased with their work. But there was a complication. They weren't done yet. No. They were not done yet. For they had something that they had to do. They had something rather important left. Well, they had to make the kill look legitimate, didn't they? They killed the king, yes. But that monster wouldn't be accepted by the public, would it? No. No, the public would not accept it. So, to that end, the party were presented with a body double. This body double was a murderer and worse. And they were told to kill him. And then their job would be complete. They were not happy about this. But what choice did they have? Faced with many armed men. Them at their last legs. Bar Rin, of course. He was basically unharmed. Little fucker. Managed to scuttle around the place. So, he was safe. But the rest? No. No, they were rather beaten up. So, an accord was made. And Asaran took a string from his shamisen. Shamisen? I have butchered that instrument's name so many times. Then, he took the wire across the neck and garroted the man, killing him swiftly. Not that the man could put up a fight. He was clearly drugged. And, well, dear sinner, the man deserved it in many respects. But he would be used as a political foil to assist in the revolution. Then the party left, of course, going down the tunnel, receiving medical attention, clean bandages and the like, and some healing potions from their employer before leaving. They then left Tidja. On the way past one of the merchant cities, on the way there, they had heard rumour of the despoiler, or as they lovingly call it, the shoes. Very serious topic, that one. Well, it would be if they find him, or he finds them. But the shoes is coming for them. Possibly. Let's be honest. It is. But with the shoes maybe on its way, the party picked up the pace a little. But they also noticed, whilst bathing in a pool to wash off the gore, a visitor. A thing. A spirit. A spider. That takes the form of a woman. Was watching them. They were later to find out its hirer was a dragon of their homeland. The party would then head to Tidja proper. And they found quite the inn, I must say. A lovely little place simply called the Hogler Can't. A little play on the fact of how close it is to the Hogler Khan's territory, and its owner being a former warrior of his. Not a very happy one, though now he's far more pleased with himself. And he's an observer of a little art from Beijing. The closest real-world analogy I can give you is feng shui. The idea of a room being a certain way, beds not facing doors, that kind of thing. And the rooms were all laid out very meticulously. And it actually worked. The spider couldn't follow. A barrier unseen blocked its entrance and prevented its watching of them further. At least, watching from that close anyway. The party would then enjoy a fine bit of breakfast, and of course receive some temporary hit points for managing to get a good meal down them. Asaran lost one of those temporary hit points because he decided to snort black powder. Because, you know, why not, I suppose. But they then listened in to the patrons. A group of dwarves were talking about how one of them had to bring a cart in. Over to Warehouse 14. The party didn't know exactly where this was, but they got a good look around where all the warehouses were. And what did you know? There it was. Fortunate, I'd say. Maybe I was being nice that day. But Rin then went to have a look. It was a bit difficult, though, because when Simon was popped inside through a little gap in the roof, he couldn't see much. The cart looked like an ornate vessel with a dragon wrapped around it. A statue of one, at least. And a forest surrounding the cart. Impossible, really. But that's what he saw. They would then later discover the charms around the place. Many warding influence to try and prevent intruders and spirits. These charms were something of their homeland, in fact, often used to keep bad things at bay. In this case, it was to keep them at bay, and others. The party would then choose, perhaps intelligently, to stake the place out. This to, how should we say, see if anyone would visit. They would then discover a gentleman known as the Counsellor, who was visiting. Jin Yuma. To go into a little detail about Jin, Jin is a counsellor by title. Whether that's his real title is questionable. that would imply his social status is around that of a solar, just below a dragon. The party would be later informed of his allegiances, but this man is no normal individual. The way he walks, the shadows themselves cling to his body, protecting him in a way, moving between the gloom. He is clearly a chosen of a dragon. We'll get to that. He was speaking with a junior assassin. Likely they weren't here for the party, but perhaps the cart and their former lord's stolen possessions that the party and allies had procured. Then, the party burst in, once Jin had left. Rak didn't want to do stealth. He isn't very good at it, but he didn't even want to try. Which, fair enough. These things happen, and sometimes a loud and proud approach works. But as soon as they entered, the illusions fired up. They were in a forest. This, essentially, meant that the entire inside was difficult terrain, as long as they failed the wisdom saving throw. Also, ranged attacks had disadvantage, magical or otherwise, if you failed the wisdom save. Because you might shoot a tree, you're trying to aim round them, but there is no tree. But you're pretty sure there is. Smells like a tree, looks like a tree, it's probably a tree, but no. No tree. You're just tripping. 'Tis the way illusions, after all. But the party was smart. They dealt with the illusionary charms dotted around the place very effectively, and were able to fight off the shades. Junior assassins who had been initiated into the Order of the Silent Watch, a council-approved organisation dedicated to keeping Beijing's problems quiet and contained. This was quite an important endeavour, because of course the party were, how shall we say, considered traitors to the country, and the stolen goods were property of their lord, and as such the dragons, and it was up to them to decide what was to be done with it, not mortals. But hey, it's alright. Because the party got it back, dispatching the shades after Rak got brutalised by a couple of them. And I mean, my boy was roughed up pretty bad by it. They also discovered in there a recurring friend, a particular Yatagar. You may remember our crow-faced demon from before. Well, he's back. Unfortunately, he met someone who was good at Mahjong and actually understood the rules of the game. That's his usual grift. Beat a man at Mahjong, gets him out of it. However, well, Jin's better than this guy, so he was trapped as a result. After making a deal with the party, he told them a few things. One, that the drivers of the cart were placed in a warehouse, well, a restaurant that was essentially a safe house. The Single Cut. The restaurant was known for its very well diced meat. Almost like a killer's edge to it, you know? Funny how that works out. Also, he warned them of who Jin was. For Jin is the chosen of the Silent One, the Black Dragon of the Council. And by her silent hand, do many problems just simply disappear forever. And this is no different. Well, at least it wouldn't have been had the party not got involved. Now, things get complicated. Jin is armed with, how should we say, blessed weaponry. A bow and blade blessed with acidic bite. And perhaps other powers, for he was very close to his mistress, and she had bestowed upon him many a gift to ensure that he did his job effectively. And Jin's very good at his job. Perhaps the party will find out. Perhaps he may have skipped town. We'll have to see on that one. But that wasn't the big revelation. No, the revelation comes next. Well, they investigated the cart to make sure this was the cart. And it was. It did return to normal. It looked fairly mundane, actually. As they would have expected it to be. The illusions, obviously, masking it. Making it look something more out there and grandiose. Perhaps to beguile and confuse. But when they opened it, what was in there? 3 crates. These 3 crates were... well, one of them was filled with platinum. Now, to stress, these crates are about as tall as they are. So about average human height. Imagine that crate filled with platinum coins. Each coin worth 100 gold. Generational wealth. No, national wealth. You could start a small nation with that kind of money. You could never worry again about anything. Power beyond recognition with that kind of wealth. And that went all the way down to the bottom of that crate. One crate was filled with documentation, rights, deeds, and the last will and testament. This last will contained a revelation that will forever change the campaign. Their lord had an heir. This heir, well, her name is Shu Luma, and she is a hybrid dragon. Of black and gold does she descend. That's right. The Lord had a hybrid child. And in Bajan society, that is a very big deal. Very few chromatic dragons are allowed to live among the lands of Bajan. The Red Daimyo is simply a pest they put up with. He has his uses, but for a metallic and chromatic to cross, well, that causes some problems. Under normal circumstances, the hybrid would be killed. But to protect her, she was sent far, far away. Is she even on this continent? We don't know. Perhaps they soon will. But there is one final revelation to her, and also to the Lord's final words. But before that, let's talk a very important thing. Loot. Loot, my boys and girls, and everyone in between. Loot. Yes. They got loot. Some glorious loot. A magical bowstaff, which had a gun built into it. Indeed, Asran's getting a gun staff. I intend to detail it further, but it's going to have some nice little AoE effects to it, to help give the party a bit of AoE. Because they haven't got any, really. Not really any at all. Good lord, how they've gone this far without any is terrifying. Now, the other thing, my dear sinners, is a helmet. Indeed. This helmet, shall we say, will have some useful effects to help dear Rak in his combative role, and hopefully help him deal some good hits in. I won't say too much more because I know my players watch these, and I don't want to spoil anything. But they will get their stats soon enough. Specifically today, while same day I'm recording this. Don't worry about it. And lastly, a set of gloves. I'm going to call these the Hands of the Unknown. That's the name I've set in stone for that one. And, well, they're now Rin's hands. He can't take them off. Ever. They literally are his hands now. They come off when he dies. Or, should his patron ever leave him. But the two are close. So I think he'll be fine. But it's part of his patron. The greater body of his patron falling down. A limb of the parasite, now reattached. I like that I've got a bit of a theme for some of these. Rins are quite easy. The themed ones, anyway. Now then. The last bit relates to a toothed dagger. What's that for? Oh. Only the Lord's final request. Should you find my heir, you are to end me, so she will inherit all I have, as well as guarantee her safety. That's right. Their lord asked them to kill him if it turned out that they found his heir. And that is where we left things. Quite the cliffhanger, I'm sure you'll agree. And quite the conundrum. For both my end and theirs. So, my dear sinners, I do hope you've enjoyed. I hope you like the new area we've got here. My new office space. I hope you like it. And I will see you next time as we put them through more suffering. Do expect, most likely, the next retelling to be out before the Azag review, but maybe I get a bit cracked and just go and make the Azag review. But I want to take my time with that one. So, the other thing that might come out is some lore about yours truly. Yes, some Vtuber lore. Because I like to make settings, chat. Oh, sinners, excuse me. Calling you chat. I'm not even live. I'm far too used to doing that now. But my dear sinners, I like to make lore. I love making lore. I love making worlds. So you'll get a bit of that as well. So, if you like the idea of that, stay tuned. But for now, my dearest sinners, thank you for your support. It does mean the world to me. And take care of yourselves. I'll see you real soon. Ta-ta for now.